Welcome to the most muscles and podcasts on the internet today. Welcome to the Pop Culture Podcast with your host, Rob Crother. And even if you can't see him, always remember, when his hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Awesome!
I came to play. This is the price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. Say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I'm here to stay. Let's get out of my way. I came to play. This is the price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. Say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream.
All right, everybody, welcome to the milestone episode 50 of the Bob Culture Podcast. Right now, you guys are listening to It Lives, It Breathes, the WWE cover of the Miz's theme, I Came to Play. Check them out right now on Spotify. They got a great WWE playlist. As always, thank you guys for letting me use your tunes. It's really awesome. Good way to get us pumped for the 50th episode of the Bob Culture Podcast. Woo, yeah, totally. I'm stoked. We made it. We're having a good time already. We're off to a good start. Hey, real quick, first and foremost, got to thank everyone, the family, the friends, everyone who supported my little podcast, made it what it is today. I got to thank, real quick, Kate, Mike, Jess, Pops. We got Tim, Chris, Bill, multiple Bills. We have all of the Michaels. We got Camp, MSD. We got Max, Jeff Crespi. We got Ken, Trevor, Maria, Josh, Joe Navolo, Shannon, Anthony, Odd, Ed, Dan. Too many to name. Chad Minez, of course. All the bands that came on, all the patrons. Sledgepad Innovations, Cooper Groove Drumsticks, Standalone Wrestling, Ripped Apparel, Purple Glaze, Killscreen Games. Thank you. Hey, all you guys, first of all, give yourselves a round of applause. Go ahead. Woo! I know. Woo! Totally.
Goddamn legends.
Thank you for having us. It's always been,
fun every time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. But no, thank you guys. Like I always say, you guys totally carry me. I have fun organizing these shows, and it's good. We had to cancel our Extreme Rules podcast last minute with our predictions, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I was looking forward to your predictions." So people actually listen to us and check us out.
That's great.
And they care what I think. So we are somewhat of experts, if I may say so.
Oh,
yeah, totally.
Right.
But, of course, let's get down to business, guys. And, again, thank you for all the help with the podcast. You know, it's really opened some doors for me. I got some big interviews coming up. We'll talk about that later. I'm writing for the poprate.com. Got to give them a plug. Always like doing that. So, really great stuff. Yeah. Oh, we love the poprate.com.
Heck yeah.
And it's just a great creative outlet for me. So, thank you, guys. I'm a drummer, and now, for some reason, they gave me a microphone. So
Journalist.
Yeah, and there you go. I love it, man. Thank you. All right, but of course, to my left, we have special co-host, of course, the human wrestling encyclopedia. The Vac Attack is back, Jack. Mr. Michael Vacchiano. The streak was almost broken, but he made it tonight. How are you, bro?
I made it, yes. Thank you again for having me, Rob. Always fun doing this, and yeah, just great to be here.
It's great, man. No questions tonight. We got to keep it moving. We got a big card. Of course, we have the return of the Anti-smark, Matthew Wittes. After a stellar debut, he is back in action. How are you, Matt?
Hey, yo, good to be the bad guy.
I love it, dude. Very cool. And, of course, we got a couple guys from popbreak.com. Of course, we got the editor-in-chief, the founder, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Bill Bodkin.
SummerSlam 2018 is already the best major pay-per-view in WWE history because Randy Orton isn't on the fucking show.
Ooh. There it is. I knew that was coming, and we'll get to that match.
I already got the E for this podcast going.
Oh, that's right, man. And, of course, we have another Mike on the show. We always have a ton of Michaels, but we love our Michaels here. Mr. MSD Michael Dworkis, of course, former WWE Magazine writer, senior editor over at thepopbreak.com. MSD, welcome back. How are you, man?
Thank you very much, and I apologize. I've got baby throw up all over me.
Hey.
He is on kid number 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man.
I know that feel, bro. I know that feel.
You guys
Yeah.
keeping it real on the Bob Culture Podcast, man. Good for you.
If only diapers can be used as weapons in a wrestling match.
Oh, it could happen one day. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, we've done armpits. Why not dirty diapers, you know?
Diaper on a pole match.
Yeah. All right. Well, this took a turn. So we're not going to start with the diaper on a pole match. Maybe, I'm sure, maybe next Extreme Rules pay-per-view. But, all right, guys. So let's start. As I always say, we are, somewhat. We are gentlemen here on the Bob Culture Podcast. I'm using that term very loosely. But, of course, we are starting, we're starting out strong with a match that I think might steal the show. Of course, we have Becky Lynch Straight Fire versus Charlotte Flair. And, of course, we have the champ, Carmella, Miss Money, in a triple threat match. Obviously, I had written on the Pop Break reviewing SmackDown a couple times. I said Becky's time is now. Now with Charlotte coming back, being inserted into the match, things are a little bit different. We're going to start on my left with the Human Wrestling Encyclopedia, Michael Vacchiano. I know you have some feelings about this. Take it away.
All right. Start off, I'm so happy that Becky gets this chance. I've always been a fan of hers. Always coming up close and then getting out. And that's why, personally, I don't like that Charlotte kind of weaseled her way into this. I understand she's a star and is a triple threat. The only way I can see is this somehow makes it so Becky and Charlotte cancel each other out so Carmella can sneak out the win. Because if Becky loses to Carmella one-on-one, I think it's going to hurt Becky more in the long run. But if this is, if Becky doesn't get the belt, okay, but hopefully it'll lead up to maybe her eventually getting the belt at WrestleMania. I'm so for that. I hope she doesn't turn heel, because I like Becky as a face. And I think between her and Charlotte, if they are going to feud, Charlotte is a much better heel. But as much as I'd love to see Becky walk away, I'm going to say Carmella sneaks out with it.
Wow, and I totally agree. I say now is not the time to turn Becky Lynch heel. I'm going to throw it over to Bill Bodkin, a Becky Lynch fan, if I remember correctly.
Well, I do not think Becky Lynch, a.k.a. the female Surfer Sting from 1991, is going to win this match. I think, if anyone, I do have, if I'm doing the Scott Steiner math here, there's a 6 3/8 chance that Charlotte walks out, but a 52.3% chance that Carmella walks out with a chance, and a 0% chance Becky walks out. It's going to go one of two ways. Carmella sneaks it out and somehow takes it to Evolution for a big payoff match. But I think the big money match, you want to get butts and seats for Evolution. It's going to be Charlotte taking the title, Charlotte Asuka rematch. Boom.
We did a poll here on Twitter, and I got to look at the results, but Becky was in the lead for that poll. We'll check it out. Let's throw it over to the Anti-smark, Matt Wittes. Matt, what do you got, man?
Pretty torn on this one. But, yeah, again, this is what do we think's going to happen, not what we want to happen. I definitely don't see it going to Becky. Really, I mean, the whole setup for this match is Becky possibly going heel, which doesn't seem to make much sense, but they definitely teased that with her on Monday.
I mean, I'm okay with Becky going heel. I don't see that as a problem. I think it wouldn't be bad to spice her up a little bit.
It wouldn't be too bad. Just Charlotte was so good in that role, and if Becky goes heel, who she button heads with immediately? Charlotte. So I mean, it's necessary to evolve the characters, but I see Carmella or Charlotte. But Becky blames Charlotte over whichever way it happens.
Very interesting. Okay, good stuff from the Anti-smark. MSD, I was trying to give you a few minutes to clean yourself up over there. What are your thoughts on the match?
Well, when it was one-on-one, I was going with Becky Lynch for the win, but now that they've tossed Charlotte in there, I feel like it's just taken any chance that this would have been Becky Lynch's moment. And with the women's pay-per-view coming up, I have a hard time seeing Carmella taking the title there. And it's kind of like Bill say, they want the big money match. A rematch between Charlotte and Asuka would definitely be a main draw. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Asuka versus Becky Lynch, but seeing how they put Charlotte in there, my gut's telling me that Charlotte will be the one to pin Becky, winning the title. And this way, it also keeps Carmella without actually being pinned, so she could, claim, I never lost, and do that whole bit for a while. But, I got to go with Charlotte on this one.
That's why he's a goddamn former WWE.com writer right there.
That's right. You're darn right about that. And real quick to round everything else, I was saying, and I was literally writing on the Pop Break, sorry, John Cena, but Becky's time is now. Charlotte coming back and immediately getting into the match made it interesting, threw me for a loop. Just like MSD said, I feel it in my gut that she's not going to win. But, I'm going to stick to my guns here. I said her time is now. She's made almost all of the women tap on the SmackDown women's roster. I'm nervous that, like Mike had said, they are going to cancel each other out, Charlotte and Becky, somehow leading to this Evolution pay-per-view. Can we talk about the name? I mean, I'm all for it, but that recycled name, we'll talk about that later. I'm thinking they're going for that. That might be the time for that 4 horsewomen kind of match, and things going on with Sasha and Bayley, who haven't really, I don't think, been on a pay-per-view because of that whole thing being stretched out. And yeah, it's all over the place. Everyone lost their mind. I think I wrote the review for that Raw review where Bayley, lost her what and went off on Sasha. And the crowd went nuts, and nothing really came of that. So, but I digress. But I think it's going to go for that 4 horsewomen kind of thing. But it can get there one way or another. A lot of things have to happen for that. But I'm going to stick with Becky Lynch. I said it. I'll stick with my guns. We seem to always pick Becky here. Now's the time to strike. And anyone think Ellsworth is coming back?
No.
Done.
No. God, no, please no.
Nose all around.
I think it would be way too quick to go back to that well, especially if you just released him again.
Totally. And you think he'll be coming back to the company at some point?
Yeah, he'll be back at some point, I'm sure, but not this quick.
Yeah, I agree, and we'll be seeing him. Hopefully, I'm going to try really hard, Bill. Going to try to get an interview with him down at Boardwalk Beatdown, so that would be great conversation, I think. Oh, dude, totally, it's going to be awesome. All right, up next, it's Rusev Day. Of course, we have the mixed tag, Rusev and Lana versus Zelina Vega. I'm a fan. Versus Andrade Cien Almas. That dude can wrestle, I'm glad we got to see him kind of highlighted after not being on TV for a little while. Versus AJ Styles, that was really cool. My biggest issue with this whole feud is Lana's accent kind of coming in and going out. It's one or the other. But I digress. Let's start with MSD over there. What do you think about this match?
I'm going with Rusev Day on this one because it's... he's coming out like full face on here. I know Almas is getting the big push, but the other thing is that very rarely have I ever looked forward to a mixed tag team match.
Yeah.
And I think with the success of the mixed match challenge that they did a couple months ago, having Vega in the ring, we know she can wrestle. Lana, on the other hand, she can survive, but watching Almas and Vega both be able to wrestle together as a team will be very entertaining. And the reason why, even though I'm putting Almas and Vega over more, I also feel like Rusev losing right now is just not going to be good for his career. Him and English that's pretty much over and done with. And I feel like right now Rusev needs a win because otherwise I don't know what's left for him on SmackDown. I'm not really sure what he's got left. With Almas, he could win, he could lose, but he's still rising up. He's got no issues.
Okay, good stuff. Bill, I heard you weighing in there. What do you think about this one?
Well, logic would dictate that Almas and Vega should win this match. They are the hot commodity, but every time WWE seems to have a logical answer, they go the other way. So it seems like it should be Rusev and Lana, but I have a feeling Mike brought up Aiden English, and I don't think we've seen the end of him in this feud, and I think somehow he ends up costing Rusev and Lana this match, and Cien and Zelina win because I think the money is behind them right now. They are really high on Zelina Vega. I've read a lot of reports on that. So I think they take it. I feel like this branches Rusev off into a feud with Aiden English, whether that's him and English fighting or English picking someone to be his proxy. I think that could be interesting, but I think it's going to be Cien and Mrs. Austin Aries, Zelina Vega.
I'm just going to weigh in real quick. I 100% agree with everything you said. I've been high on Zelina Vega, not just for being a manager, but when she did that running hurricane rod off the apron onto, I think, Johnny Gargano in NXT. Just, she can wrestle, and like you said, I think the money's behind them. They both can wrestle, so obviously they're my pick. Let's throw it over to the Anti-smark, Matt Wittes.
It's the trifecta. I'm right there with you guys. Almas and Vega, they're the hot product, and you can protect Rusev to a degree by, shenanigans coming into play, Lana, in English, and whatever's they're trying to work with there. So, yeah, it makes sense, which is why it's 50-50 on whether it's going to happen or not, because it does make sense. But that's the way I'm going with it.
Good stuff. Vac Attack is back.
Well, I probably am going to go also with Almas and Zelina because, yeah, they do want to protect them. Zelina, I can see, who knows? She might be starting to fight for the Women's Championship in a couple months, getting into that mix. She can wrestle. Lana, yeah, not as naturally talented, but Lana is still popular because, well, people like to look at her. Let's call her it is. I'm sorry. But anyway, Rusev, Rusev can still be a big threat. I was so happy that he got that one-on-one match with AJ at the last pay-per-view. He did a great job. But, yeah, to sell the whole pairing of Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega, I'm going with them to win. Will English cost them on purpose or accidentally? Yeah, either way, I do think he will cost them. And, so Andrade and Zelina. Going with that.
All right. Let's move on, gentlemen. Good stuff as always. I appreciate the research and you guys paying attention to the details. Always looking out for that Aiden English factor as well. Good stuff, guys. Oh, yeah. You got to do an Aiden English.
My throat hurt just from Braun, much less.
Yeah. Nothing's going to beat the Braun intro. All right, moving on. Bill, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. We have the Cruiserweight title match. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak. The floor is yours, my friend. Take it away, Bill.
It is time for us to bask in the glory, sorry, Keith Lee, of Drew Gulak. I think we're going to see a changing of the guard. Listen, Cedric Alexander is an awesome wrestler, but his personality, not so much. Drew Gulak's going to give a different view to 205 Live. I think there's a lot of new feuds that could be brought up there. I don't see anyone else that could really oust Cedric right now that makes sense. So I think Gulak will win this match. I think he's been primed to win something big. We saw how much charisma he had during the ill-fated Zotrain run, and he was probably the most popular guy of that clique. And I think they're going to switch this title. Cedric had the WrestleMania moment, and I think it's time to put the belt on Gulak, who's constantly evolved as a performer, as a character, and he's a good wrestler, and I think you get some freshness in there, and there's plenty of strong baby faces you can put against him on 205 Live, change things up a little bit. And I'm Gulak all the way. Team Beard. Let's do this.
Good stuff, Bill. Really good stuff. I completely agree with everything you said, especially about his character evolving. He's always been good. He's always had like a solid gimmick, pretty solid on the mic, solid wrestler all around. And I just had indie wrestler Frankie Picard on not too long ago, and he was trained by Drew Gulak. So I think the time is now for Drew Gulak, a little bit of a change. Again, Alexander, he certainly can wrestle. Should be a good match, too, or as I keep saying, a solid match. But I'm going to pick Drew Gulak as well. I see Mike looking at me over here. What do you got, Mike?
No, I'm saying I was listening to Bodkin, and I am totally agreeing with him. I think the Cruiserweight division kind of was like when they had Neville as champion, as the heel dominant champion, it was like it would add some a lot of buzz around it. And then when Enzo was a champ, yes, but Enzo wasn't the typical Cruiserweight. He was just like the annoying heel who constantly escaped with the belt. And Gulak, I think, could do that too because he doesn't really fly. He doesn't really do that. He's mostly mat-based, everything like that. He keeps everyone else grounded, the whole no-fly zone. I think him coming out, cutting those promos with his suit, doing everything like that, I think he could be a really strong top heel for that division. I mean, I love Cedric, too. I've been a fan of his since Ring of Honor, so over 5 years now. He's awesome. The guy can do anything. But, yeah, his promos, it's just not picking up as much as I would like to see. Because I do think he could be the top face of the division. But right now it's time for a top heel, and I think Gulak is that guy.
Good stuff, man. And also, I got to mention this. I think I mentioned this on one podcast, a couple wrestling podcasts ago, about Cedric. His, entrance music, didn't pick up. The bass didn't drop or the beat didn't come in until he was, halfway down the ramp. And I think they fixed it. just something I know. It's the little things. All right.
Also, the future of that division, to me, is Mustafa Ali, not Cedric. He's the hero we deserve.
Bill is on fire tonight. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, man. If this was around the horn, I'd be giving Bill a lot of points right now. All right, MSD, let's throw it over to you. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The 205 Live seems to thrive when a heel is champion and their face is chasing the title. That seems to be when it gets better. I mean, listen, for Cedric chasing the title, when he won the title, he was definitely overdue for it. There were a lot of times he was supposed to go for it, but because of injury or other mishaps, he never had a chance. So him finally winning the Cruiserweight title was great, but now that he has it, there's nothing really exciting to watch. And granted, he puts on great matches. I mean, whenever he hits that lumbar check, good lord, it's a great move.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, I like seeing guys like Cedric or Mustafa Ali chasing after the title. But once they become champion, you feel like the show as a whole stagnates. So I gotta toss this one to Gulak because he's gonna be a heel that everyone will love to hate, and watching faces like someone like Mustafa Ali go chase him will be worth to watch.
Good. You guys are bringing it today. Matt, what do you got?
Well, Bill said it. Mustafa Ali is the hero we deserve, but right now Drew Gulak is the D-bag that we need to run to a. You know what? Cedric is a great athlete, a great performer, but they have a lot of great athletes on 205 Live. They do not have people that can go out there and cut a promo or a PowerPoint presentation like Drew Gulak does.
Not a lot of good characters.
That is what they need.
Yeah.
That's their weak point, and he's the strongest they have in that regard.
Wow. All right, guys. Good. You guys are super quotable too, by the way. Really good.
I still miss Austin Aries, though. I'll just put that out there.
Miss Neville too, and all that.
Neville, yeah, but Austin Aries to me, I thought could have been, whether heel or face, could have been the guy who carried that division for the next couple of years. I love Austin Aries, although a lot of other people who work with Austin Aries hate him, but still.
We digress. Yes, of course.
Sorry to go off track.
No, dude, it's all right. We could talk.
Go eat a banana elsewhere.
Yeah, we could talk wrestling for like 5 hours, really longer than the pay per view even. All right, well, Mike gave us the nice little. The Miz actually stopped by. No, not really. He's too busy with his reality show.
Wrong Mike here. Sorry,
but with our little Miz intro, and again, thanks to the guys from It Lives, It Breathes. We have, of course, something that we're just happy this is in the realm of possibility. We can't say it enough. We're happy to see Daniel Bryan wrestling. This is the feud we've been wanting for a while. It all started it started even before that with the NXT, the older version of the NXT show with the pros and that huge promo the Miz had on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. Just fantastic when Bryan wasn't even wrestling. We finally get this match. I am super interested in what you guys have to say about this one. Let's throw it over to MSD.
This is the match we've been waiting for. I wish there was a little bit more build for this. I think back to ECW when they built up Sabu and Taz for so long, and then when they finally collided, it was insane. I was hoping a bit longer of a drawn-out, build-up for this feud. But listen, I'm just happy it's happening at SummerSlam and not one of the off-month pay-per-views. For this one, I really hesitated because I thought that if Daniel Bryan wins this one off the bat, then it means, all right, he's done. He got his revenge feud over. However, if The Miz wins, then it gives us an opportunity to continue the feud and maybe draw it out for a few more months. So I might be in the minority, but I'm going to go with The Miz on this one.
Going with The Miz. I'm looking at Vac over here. What do you got, Vac?
I definitely want to go with The Miz, too. Like I said, it's awesome to see Daniel Bryan back. I'm so happy for him, as a person personally, that he gets to do what he loves. Obviously, he isn't he's lost as much as he's won since he's had his career back. And for this one, I can see Miz either pulling out the win through cheating and then have Daniel Bryan say, "You didn't beat me straight up," or have Miz actually beat Daniel Bryan straight up and have Daniel Bryan question, "Oh, do I still have it anymore? I've lost something," everything like that. And then eventually I think the feud could continue, maybe even to one final match, like the final match at WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan could maybe put his career on the line or something like that, saying, if I can't beat Miz at WrestleMania, then I'm quitting. something like that.
Oh, career. All right.
If I was planning storylines for the next 6 months, that's kind of what I would go with.
Interesting. All right, Bill, go ahead.
That's a tough one, man, because one thing, the elephant in the room is that Daniel Bryan's contract ends in less than 2 weeks. And he hasn't signed his contract, even though he said on Sam Roberts' podcast that he will be signing soon, but he hasn't signed yet. So I think WWE is going to do a little bit of CYA. It makes sense storyline-wise from what everyone said, but God forbid Daniel Bryan says, you know what, I ain't going to stay. He's going to lose. Because if Daniel Bryan leaves, you sure as hell don't want him winning and then going to little pay-per-view in Chicago and being all in, hot off a SummerSlam win. Or maybe showing up in New Japan, hot off a SummerSlam win, off a guy who just signed for another second season of a reality TV series and who you could position as who is one of your top guys. So I think no matter what, Miz is going over.
Yeah, interesting. And I know that you were high on Miz last time you were on.
I literally hated Miz with a fiery passion, especially when he pinned the late great Balls Mahoney, one of my all-time favorites, on ECW on Sci-Fi, which was a travesty. And I thought he was hot garbage. And the thing is, he admits he was hot garbage, and he has come a hell of a long way since he first started. And he deserves the belt, especially on SmackDown Live. He deserves the belt at some point, and why they don't put it on him, make him the focal point of that show, I have no idea.
Wow, interesting stuff, and maybe this is a stepping stone towards that. Let's throw it over to the Anti-smark.
You can say that maybe Daniel Bryan is due for a marquee win, but it just makes more sense. It's safer for everybody, and D-Bry, he's a giver. I see this going to The Miz. Like I said, it's weird timing. It either could have been his first match back at WrestleMania, or they could have held it on for a longer burn. They had a great package on Raw with that 8 years in the making.
Yeah.
There's tension between these two, but I especially like the idea that could see a little role reversal where Daniel has to be a little more careful these days, where Miz is going to have to pull out the stops and take some risks to beat him. But that's, like I said, Miz is the money right now. He's one of their very top marquee names, and for good reason. I see that being their safe way of going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with The Miz. I think he propelled this feud even when Daniel Bryan wasn't an active wrestler. He's got everything going for him right now. Like, to Bill's point, maybe this is a stepping stone for him. A big win over a guy like Daniel Bryan could propel him to the next level.
Bryan?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Fancy there.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're, like I said, we're gentlemen. But I digress. So I'm going to go with Miz on this one. For a lot of reasons. And I wanted to mention this earlier, guys, at the start of the show, but I'll say it now. I think titles are going to move in this pay-per-view. It's a big card. I think there's going to be some titles moving. I really do. Speaking of which, as my nice little segue here, let's talk about the Intercontinental title match. Of course, lots to talk about here, guys. We got Ziggs, as I call him. We got Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. I don't want to say managers, but at their side, of course, we got Drew McIntyre. And, of course, we have the returning, who I'm a huge fan of, Dean Ambrose. Let's throw it over to Matt. Matt, what do you think about this one?
I'll just go ahead and say it. I think these two are going to burn it down to steal the show. Yes, there was. Somebody had to do it.
Yep.
No, these guys are two of the top talents in ring that they have right now, and that can make a case for in a very long time, if not ever. Ambrose, I think we kind of saw it coming by the end of Monday Night Raw. Looks like he's been taking care of himself with the steak and potatoes and come to grips with male pattern baldness. Know that feel, bro?
Wow.
So I think this is going to be great. We're going to see a lot of outside the ring action. McIntyre, Ambrose. If Zig retains, it's going to be a schmaz, but I see Seth taking it.
You see Seth taking it. All right, MSD, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the match I think everyone will enjoy the most. It will steal the show. I mean, every time any combination of Rollins, Ziggler, or McIntyre has been in the ring, it's stolen Raw. I mean, you can pretty much turn off the TV after watching their match because there's really nothing else to watch afterwards. But the truth is, I actually think either the match we just talked about, either the Miz Daniel Bryan or the Intercontinental title match, will actually be the show opener for the main show.
That's a good call. Good call. Good call, MSD. Totally. All right, Bill, throw it over to you.
Oh man, if part of me feels like Dean Ambrose, aka Mini Triple H, is going to get it, or Trapzilla, whatever you want to call him, is going to screw Seth Rollins at this pay-per-view, and it'd be like, "F you, Seth. You aren't my friend. You're just blah 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 blah." And we get a Rollins Ambrose feud while Ziggler moves on to somebody else. Because I think if Dolph Ziggler doesn't retain this title, I don't know what he does.
Dude, I couldn't agree more.
This is the first time Dolph Ziggler and his really shitty hair, which, by the way, I don't know what was going on in Raw with his hair. Looked like he was wearing a wig. Has been interesting. And I attest that to Drew McIntyre. And I feel like they need another person to go up against. I don't know who that would be at this time. Christ, I hope it's not Bobby Lashley. But I think Seth and Dean is a much more interesting feud than Dolph going elsewhere. So I'm going to say Ziggler retains via shenanigans.
Via shenanigans. Good stuff. And Bill, again, I agree with you. I was going to start this one off by saying, is it like painfully obvious that Ambrose is going to turn heel at this pay-per-view? I see Mike nodding. We'll get to you in just a second, Vac.
But he needs to, because Dean Ambrose, when he was healthy, the last 6 months to a year of his run was boring as hell. I mean, he was like one of the most dynamic wrestlers in WWE, and then he was just turned the channel boring. It was the same shit every week from him, and he needs to be that unhinged bad guy, and I think this is his opportunity to do it.
Unhinged, that's a key word, the lunatic. And it looks like, they might be going that direction because, to your point, Bill, Ziggler and Rollins are going to keep fighting forever. Like, they need to kind of go their separate ways. I want to see some stuff with Drew McIntyre kind of mixing it up. I kind of called them taking over the tag division. I couldn't have been more wrong on that one. But I'm a huge Ambrose guy, and I like him as a face. I could see him go heel. I think they've been waiting for this match. These Shield guys, they love. At the same time, Rollins is a title machine. But I'm going to say Ziggler retains, and I'm interested to see what they do with Ambrose. Vac, what do you got?
You know what? I don't want Seth to win the title, and I'm going to tell you right now, I love Seth Rollins, but it's going to hurt Ziggler if he loses again, and I would like to see Rollins either feud for the Universal Championship soon, or if he feuds with a heel Ambrose, I'm all for that. Ambrose, I think, would be an amazing heel. People who are fans of his from the indie scene know how great he can be. He just looks like he can pull off that silent, dangerous persona. It would be great. I love his new haircut, his new buzz cut. I thought was awesome. And yeah, I'm going to go with that. And then Ziggler retains. Ziggler can go on to feud with somebody else. Maybe like Bobby Roode or something like that would be I think could be a nice mid-card feud. Obviously both great promo work from both guys. And Ziggler can have great matches with anybody. I know people get on Bobby Roode because he's kind of like generic with the moveset, but I mean, he's a veteran, he's solid, and we see using the word solid.
Needs to go heel. That's another topic.
That's the only thing. If Bobby Roode feuds with Ziggler, then Bobby Roode stays face, and I think we all determined we want Bobby Roode heel. But to get back to Rollins and Ziggler, I think Ziggler retains whether Ambrose screws him or not, and that's it. Going Ziggler.
All right. Good stuff, guys. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you guys right now. I mentioned this briefly before we started recording. I was making sure I wrote down all the matches, and please let me know if I miss anything. But under the matches, it said Elias is performing his greatest song at SummerSlam. I'm thinking this is a perfect opening for some sort of return or something like that. Booyaka. I digress. Bill, I'm going to let you take over here because you had mentioned something about he did have a performance at the Gramercy that may have been canceled.
Yeah, so Elias' show at the Gramercy was just reported to be canceled. Got some inside dirt, and it was they announced it super late, and he sold about half the show. I'm sorry, half the venue.
Right.
Out. So I mean, not bad. He did like about 300 supposedly in a 650 cap room, but they also realized like, oh wait, NXT is across town. We don't want to pull people from there. Whoopsie. So I think they're just trying to CYA. They'd be like, okay, we need Elias on the show. Unfortunately, Rob, I don't think we will be dialing up a 619. I think it will be our good buddy Bob will be showing up or something lame. Because ever since the John Cena Elias thing at WrestleMania, they have done everything possible to just make Elias look like dog shit.
Well, Bill, you got the inside track, man. That was a lot of information. I know, as always on the podcast, a lot of wishful thinking from me. And anyone have any other thoughts, real quick, about the Elias performance or song, or any ideas? Anyone want to weigh in on that, or shall we move on?
I could weigh in. It's the same thing. Like, WWE knows that they have a winner with Elias. I mean, he gets, regardless whether he runs down the crowd, plays up the crowd, the fans want to see him in his antics. But it's one of those things where WWE has a winner here. I mean, it's unfortunate that the show got canceled, and I'm sure maybe he could end up using that to build some more heat at SummerSlam. But, I mean, WWE has a winner with him, and then they're just going to bring somebody out to squash him in the middle of the ring again and make him look bad. Or as Bill aptly put it, look like dog shit.
Oh, man. You guys call it like it is. Anyone else on the Elias concert performance? Should I move on? All right. Moving on real quick. I'm doing the juke over here because we know it's one of my personal favorites. Of course, we have Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I really thought this was going to turn into a triple threat. You had all the Randy Orton stuff, which I thought was really interesting, where he put his finger in the gauge holes of Jeff's ear. That was vicious, man.
Yes.
Oh, man. So some interesting stuff there. Last week on SmackDown, Orton was kind of lurking around the corner. I was like, man, there's going to be so many memes of that. But I didn't really see any. But I thought this was going to be a triple threat. Still excited for the matchup. I'm going to let Matt take this one away. Matt, what do you think about this match?
This is a really interesting contrast. You've got the hard hitter versus the high flyer. You got the fallen favorite versus the redemption story. And I think there's a part of me that thinks both these guys are in that 40 range and have taken a lot of beating over a lot of miles in those 40 years each. But this looks like one that could be a match that has that OMG moment written all over it. If it's to be had, if they're the ones to give it to us, it's gonna be something we're gonna talk about for a long time.
I like that. I like what you're saying, Matt. Okay, really good. Who do you think's leaving with the title?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Nakamura.
Go with Nakamura. I think that's a safe bet. Vac, what do you got?
Going Nakamura too. I mean, I know it's funny, like Nakamura's playing up his ignorant foreigner kind of gimmick, a little bit, but still being really vicious and dangerous when he can be. And you know what? It would make Nakamura look weak if Jeff still beats him when Orton's lurking in the shadows and still beat him up left and right. I mean, it seems like Jeff's going to move on to the feud with Orton, just the two of them, and Nakamura will go on and face someone else. So, I got to go Nakamura. And you know what? I'm really digging Nakamura. Sorry, Rob. I know Jeff's your boy, but got to go with Nakamura this time.
Hey, that's okay. I'm also picking Nakamura for a lot. I know, right? For a lot of I like the reaction. For a lot of reasons. I said this before. I saw some of the matches from the venue. Were announced for the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. Even before that was announced, I remember I had been saying this for a while. I remember for what was it, that Table for 3 show, and it was the Hardys and Finn. Jeff said, like, one of his, I don't want to say bucket list, but, he's winding down. He's beat up, too. I think that he wants that Hell in a Cell match. He had said it. I think, to Matt's point, I think that big spot might be, I don't know if it's possible, a swanton off the helmet. I don't know, but he seems to want that. I think that's where it's going. Obviously, rumors are that it's going to happen anyway.
Maybe he might do it off the roof through an opening in the cage into the ring, but not off the cage to the outside on the floor. Either way, I
play too many video games, I know, right? But honestly, I'm excited. He wants that. It's not about a belt or anything like that. It would be awesome to finally see him get that Hell in a Cell. And he's beat up right now. I think Shinsuke is going to move on to feud with someone else with the title. And yeah, that's I just really want to see. I won't be disappointed if Jeff loses. I want that Hell in a Cell match. And with a guy like Randy Orton, I'm going to throw it over to Bill. It might be cool, but go ahead, Bill.
So Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win this match probably because he's been an afterthought in this entire feud. They don't give a shit about Shinsuke Nakamura. What they care about is putting boring fucking Randy Orton in a match with Jeff Hardy. And what's happened is, while I said this was the greatest pay-per-view ever because Randy Orton wasn't going to be on it, I just realized, no, Randy Orton will be on this match, and he's going to help Nakamura win. Because they don't care about what Nakamura does. They don't care about this U.S. title. They care about Orton and Hardy. And you know what? I fucking hate Randy Orton. But you know what? People love Randy Orton. I don't know why. People also still like to smoke cigarettes. I don't know why. But it's Orton and, Hardy and Orton is going to put butts in seats. People want to see that match. That's what they're going to build for. Nakamura will go off somewhere. They really don't care about Nakamura. Nakamura could, do a fucking tap dance down the ring, and they wouldn't give a shit because he has been an utter disappointment to me since he's been on the main roster. He's had one good match, in my opinion. That was his first match against Sami Zayn. Everything else he's done, you could tell he's banged up. You could tell he's not where he was when he's in New Japan. I know I sound like such a smarky douchebag when I say that, but hey, time catches up with people. And I just feel like this is going to be this is all I build to Orton and Hardy, and that's it.
All right, man. Tell us how you really feel, Bill. I can't wait till we get to the Baron. Corbin match.
Orton, so.
All right, MSD. What do you got?
Wow, so I really don't think I could top anything that Bill just said. I feel pretty much the same way. I've never been a fan of Orton. I kind of groan whenever he comes on screen, and honestly,
even though you did a print ad for WWE.com with that guy? All right.
I did see the picture. I did see that picture, yes.
Did he ask you to shake his hand?
Oh, no. Don't go there.
He didn't really want to make eye contact with us at all. And it was probably a very awkward moment, and it was more like a crotch KO to have him, right in front of my face.
Oh boy!
But yes, print ad and everything. Yes, like Bill said, people like him. People want to see him in the ring. Don't know why, but people like to see Jeff Hardy. They like to see Jeff Hardy do crazy shit. So why not see Jeff Hardy do crazy shit with Randy Orton? And with Hell in a Cell, that's where it could happen. And I agree. Shinsuke will walk away with the title, and he's just going to go sit in a corner, cradle the title in his lap, and maybe he'll get a couple matches here and there, but nobody's going to care. WWE has made certain that at this point nobody cares because his performance level isn't what it was before. It's not the level he had in NXT or even in New Japan. He had a couple good matches with AJ Styles, but honestly, they weren't what people hoped for. They were decent matches, but they weren't stellar matches. So yeah, like I said, Shinsuke will win, but it's pointless right now.
Wow, no sugarcoating tonight. You guys are getting right to it, and I appreciate you guys' time. You guys keep it real. I love it. So again, just to make sure Bill stays happy, let's talk about Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. Bill, I'm going to throw this at you. What do you think about this?
Son of a bitch.
Is this oh man, is this Constable thing an upgrade for you? Now, Bill, an open hater of Baron Corbin, pretty much ripped him last time.
At least he shaved his stupid head. Admittedly, Baron Corbin is better fitted for this role than being the lone wolf, whatever the hell that was. I mean, he was a post-apocalyptic Mad Max. What the hell was he? Who knows? Who gives a shit? He was terrible. He had a good theme music and a good finisher. Congratulations. I don't know. Finn Balor should win this match because what are they doing with this guy? He's so friggin' popular, yet let's just keep burying him. He should be the guy who goes to face Dolph Ziggler next. And he should win that title because he like they say, the guys don't need the belt. No, he needs the belt because it needs to show that he can win a match because he is the ultimate yo-yo guy. Baron Corbin as this heel doesn't need to win this match. In fact, my prediction is Survivor Series, it will be somehow, or we're building towards a Kurt Angle Baron Corbin match. And that is much sort of kind of maybe interesting, but like, I'm going to go with Finn with this because I can never pick Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I know. I know you do not like that Baron Corbin, but let's throw it to someone who is a fan of Baron Corbin and, really been following him. Matt, what do you think about this one? And what do you think about the Constable thing, too?
I was a big defender of him keeping that greasy skullet. I thought it'd make it. Like I said, well, now he's going from looking like, post-apocalyptic biker in an 80s movie to looking like, lead henchman in Sherlock Holmes 3. But it seems to work. It allows him to keep being the bully, and that's who he's been from day one. He's Packard Walsh. He's Buddy Revell. Really dating myself with those 80s movies right now. But that's his goal right now, and what Balor needs to do is beat the bully. Corbin continue being that backstage enforcer, bad guy kind of thing. But this is now it's Finn's moment, and this is going to be a good stepping stone for him.
I can just jump in for 1 second because I'm sort of buzzed right now, is that they had a moment to do something super cool with Baron Corbin when Brock Lesnar got in his face. Like, Baron Corbin could have stood up to Brock Lesnar, and people would have been like, yo, that's something different. But instead, they took the easy way out and had Baron Corbin just chicken out. Like, if he took an F5, I think people would have more respect for him, and you could still turn it around. He's like, Kurt, I stood up for you, and look what happened to me. You're a piece of shit now. I'm never standing up for you again. I'm going to, do everything I can to ruin you. And you could have written your way around that, but instead it's like, I'm a puss. I'm going to step out of the ring. You had a moment to make him cool, and you didn't. And that is WWE's biggest problem. They have so many moments to do cool things, and they play it safe or they play it lame.
Yeah,
that was excellent.
Tell us how you really feel. Yeah, no, not a fan of that RKO. Not a fan of that Baron Corbin. Let's find some middle ground here. Vac, what do you got?
I really don't think I can follow any of this now. I mean, this is I don't know. For a storyline standpoint, yes, Finn Balor needs this win. He could go on a feud with Ziggler. I'm all for that, and I love to see Finn finally get that some kind of gold after having the Universal Belt for one day. Corbin doesn't need it. These guys have put on some good matches. They had a really good match on Raw a couple weeks back, and obviously this is a rematch. And I'm not as, I'm like both guys. I really do. I think both bring something very different to the table. And, I mean, the whole Constable thing, I'm still kind of weird seeing him wear, the suit when he wrestles, similar to, when Kane was, corporate Kane.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
But, yeah, I mean, bottom line is I don't see why he can't wear his old gear still with the new hair, with the buzzed head. But bottom line is I just say Finn Balor taking it.
All right, I'm going to agree on that one. I think, Finn needs the win. I'd seen an interview with Kurt Angle, or maybe it was like a question or something. They were asking why Finn hadn't been in any title picture or the Universal title picture. And I think what I had read, Kurt Angle had said something they wanted to see his durability, like coming back from the injury. And I think now he's going to start picking up that momentum finally and some of those wins. So I'll pick Finn Balor for that reason. MSD, we need some more middle ground here. What do you got?
Not going to get much middle ground because this is Chief Morley version 2.
Yes.
Yeah, Finn, I want and believe that Finn Balor should win the match. Balor losing here will just pretty much send him right out to the dumpster along with the Spirit Squad. And having Bacon Rorbin get a win here, it's pointless. There's no purpose to it. There's no meaning. It would just be WWE's way of saying, hey, big guy wins again. Yay, it's one of our guys. Oh, you're not reacting. We're going to do it again until you react.
Yeah. I mean, no one seems really stoked about this one. I think it's probably going to be a quick match.
I'm really waiting for the day where Bacon Rorbin catches on. I want hashtag Bacon Rorbin.
Wow.
I've been trying to make that a thing for years, dude.
I'm using it now. I'll use it in the podcast description.
Heidenreich over.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
That is it. They should have kept you for that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. Good stuff. And, of course, guys, shameless plug, you got to check out my interview with Michael Dworkis. Of course, we were talking about his days working for WWE and, working in Connecticut and all that stuff, meeting, shaking the boss's hand. That was pretty incredible, man. But I digress, man. Check that out. Of course, shameless plug for the Bob Culture Podcast. Really good stuff. Let's talk a little bit real quick about some tag team action here. Let's hit both tag team matches real quick. We have the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. I did not think this was going to be the match. I said put me down for the Bar versus the Bludgeon Brothers just because we haven't seen that particular matchup with those particular gimmicks and whatnot. Might be cool to see the Bar hold the SmackDown straps, kind of, legitimize their dominance in the tag team division. I'm going to throw it over to MSD again.
I'm surprised that they didn't do a four-way tag team match. Typically when there are a lot of teams involved and they're looking to do something different, WWE would normally do a multi-team match. So I'm a bit surprised it didn't happen. It's understandable that they didn't put the Bar against the Bludgeon Brothers because that in their eyes it's two heel teams going at it, and the fans may not be very interested in seeing that. The New Day, they're energetic, they're jumpy, they throw pancakes. I don't know, maybe pretty soon they'll be making crepes in the middle of the ring. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But the New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers will be exciting, and I'm actually going to pick the New Day on this one just so we can see some of these other teams feud with them. We've got heel teams like Sanity and the Bar, and as long as the Bludgeon Brothers hold the titles, we're not going to see these other teams move up the ranks. And that's the thing. Sanity's been on a bit of a losing streak, so for the New Day to win the titles and then immediately somehow Sanity challenges them, I would see another title change.
Wow, that's MSD. Bonus points for you on that one. That's really good stuff. I'm actually picking the Bludgeon Brothers for a different reason, but I really agree with everything you said. You need kind of that face tag team right now. I'm a fan of Sanity, hoping to see Nikki Cross join them soon. Of course, also hoping to see her succeed in NXT. I'm a big fan of that faction. They have been on a losing streak. Really cool gimmick, really good wrestlers on that, really exciting. But I'm going to stick with the Bludgeon Brothers. I read an interview a while ago with the New Day kind of saying how they hypothetically want to be a tag team that pursues singles titles, which I thought was really interesting. And they've done a lot. They're on fire. Like you said, we're talking about breakfast a lot on this podcast. We got bacon, Rorbin, and now pancakes.
Yeah,
and
man.
Yeah, now I'm getting hungry.
Yes.
Time for some Brinner. I digress. But I'm going with the Bludgeon Brothers on this one, and still hoping to see some big things for the New Day. Let's throw it to Bill Bodkin.
This is probably the biggest pick-up, one of the biggest pickups of the pay-per-view, because you could say Bludgeon Brothers need a little bit more of a run. But, who are they going to drop it to? It would be the Usos. We've seen them hold the titles. We've seen all these guys hold the titles. And the New Day doesn't need to win because they're most of the New Day. They're fun. They're entertaining. I am going to go with, you know what, I do like Mike's theory, though. I do like a New Day win with an almost immediate drop to Sanity, and I would love to see a long Sanity run. I feel like the Bludgeon Brothers, people like Luke Harper enough where they could easily figure out a way to make them good guys, and have this run go on, or make Sanity the good guys, because those guys are tough and crazy, and you could make them all likable. It's Eric Young. I mean, he was a friggin' superhero at one point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, Killian Dane's a nut, and Wolf is a nut, too. So, I mean, you can make them, like, a lovable bunch of weirdos. And if you bring Nikki Cross, she is over as hell, man, and people love her.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an NXT house show in Asbury 2 years ago where she didn't even wrestle, and the entire arena was chanting for her. So, I mean, she's good, and so I'm going to go with the New Day.
I just hope they don't turn Sanity into the new oddities.
I almost don't mind that, but if they aren't as weird with it.
I Bill, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I'm liking the heel Sanity right now, but I totally get what you say. Like, Nikki Cross is, like, super I think we saw her after the NXT show, and she was signing autographs and stuff, and just, like, super nice to everybody, too, you know? I see Mike nodding over there. What do you think about this one?
All right. Harper and Rowan, don't forget, they've been champs since Mania. In 5 months, that's like an eternity now in WWE. So they won them. Yeah, they won them at Mania. I mean, we were talking back then how much we crapped on the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick, but don't forget, Harper and Rowan are a fantastic tag team. So many great matches when they were the Wyatts with, like, you know, the Usos and everybody like that. I am a little upset that the Bar didn't win, only because I'd love to see the Bar and the Bludgeon Brothers in, like, some big brawl, like, tag team, you know. That would have been awesome. But I think New Day wins it this time to go on feud with Sanity. Like, I agree with all of you. Because New Day becomes 5-time champs. And sorry, but the whole intro, clap for your famous 5-time champs. 5-time. 5, you know, 5 just sounds better than 4. It does, you know? And Sanity, I'm sorry, I know you want them to be the oddities, but they need to be a scary-ass dominant heel faction. As far as Nikki Cross goes, she could be a tweener. And she'll be fine that way. If you know, having fights with both men and women, because she doesn't have any friends. That's not her character. You know? She's the loner. She's the crazy loner. So she can be in the women's division and fight, you know, she can fight Carmella as well as Becky Lynch if she wants to. But I hope she gets brought up soon. And
I hope she's at the show tomorrow. The NXT show.
Well,
tomorrow.
that's, yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing her in person again one more time, but on the small stage. But yeah, I'm going to say New Day wins it and does go on to the feud with Sanity.
You're picking New Day for that 5
I'm going to pick New Day for the clap for your world famous 5-time champs and feel the power. You know.
All right, really good. Did we get to Matt yet? I don't think we got to Matt yet on this one.
No, you haven't got to me yet.
Save the best for last. There you go.
It was just, you know, Mike brought up a really good point that I forgot about too. That, you know, Bludgeon Brothers have been champs since WrestleMania. The question is here: how do they protect them for a New Day win? Because I mean, their whole shtick is just based off of being so big, so strong, so brutal. You know, like modern day Road Warriors. But it does look like it's time for a change, and that New Day gives them more options. Bludgeon Brothers haven't done anything wrong, or at least nothing that they haven't been asked to do by the back. It looks like they're going to get asked to do the job on Sunday.
I agree, Matt. Good stuff. All right.
They won't make them look weak because don't forget, New Day, they always got the third man in the corner. Don't always forget that. You know, it doesn't make Harper and Rowan look weak. And I know, like, you know, Harper and Rowan can still be a dominant heel. They can still take on 3 jobbers every week if they want. They can go feud with, they can have another great feud with the Usos, everything like that. There's a lot of great tag teams on there. But it does not make Harper and Rowan look bad if they lose to the New Day because of that third man thing. And people won't care. And New Day, like I said, it'll be fine. That's all I'm going to say.
Go ahead. All right, good. So I got everybody on that one, right? We got everybody? All right, guys. Let's do one more tag team match real quick. Like I said, I think titles are going to be moving in this one. I see the B Team versus Revival. I'm just going to say Revival's going to take it on this one. That B Team thing was fun. I actually picked them to lose against, the Ultimate, or the Deleters of Worlds. I was a little concerned once I saw Bray Wyatt was kind of banged up. Now we're seeing Matt Hardy's kind of banged up. They were banged up, so then B-Team retained. So now it's B-Team versus the Revival. I just think the Revival's taking it. End of story. Mike, what do you got? Or Vac?
God, I hope the Revival wins. I can't say it enough. I mean, one of the maybe the best pure tag team. You know, they're a tag team through and through. I would love to see them beat these guys and have a long 6-month dominant run where they could take on any pairings of 2 single stars, whoever. They will win because they are just a pure, straight-up machine, a tag team wrestling machine. They're awesome. Love their finisher. I so want Revival to do it, and I sure hope they do. I'm going with Revival.
Revival, short and sweet. Let's go over to MSD.
Yeah, I'm picking the Revival because the B Team is a fun little thing, but them holding the titles really doesn't do any favors to any other tag team. And the Revival's been kept really down low for a very long time. I know they were plagued with injuries, so they really never had a chance to showcase on television. You know, them showing up to have a couple matches with that haphazard team of Lashley and Reigns, hey, that was all right. You know, it got them on TV, it put them in a better position. And you know what? I think it would be the big surprise. I think people will be surprised if the Revival wins. And this way, the Revival finally gets a main spot on television. They'll get to be featured. And honestly, I mean, think about their matches in NXT. They were a must-watch tag team. Everyone enjoyed what they did. It was had an old school style, which a lot of people appreciated. Maybe it's not exactly what is appreciated on mainstream television, but I really think it's the Revival's time. I really do.
All right, we got a lot of Revivals here. Matt?
Yeah, you know, at B-Team, they were fun. It was a nice reward for 2 good soldiers. But I think, this is Revival's redemption song. You know, they came in with a lot of hype, and unfortunately, one injury after another, you know, kept them out of the spotlight there. And I think they're willing to give them another run here and see if they can capture that lightning in the bottle a second time.
Short and sweet. I love it. Bill?
I want to say the top guys, and everything is screaming that they should win. But how many times have we seen this happen with the Raw tag titles? The titles should change hands, and they don't. And I think the B Team is going to lose to Authors of Pain. I think they want to they're going to have a dominant team, and I think the Revival should win, much like the club should have won multiple times, but didn't. When it always seemed right to change the title, they didn't. So I think B Team holds on, and the top guys go back to doing what the top guys do, and I think the B Team is going to be cannon fodder for Authors of Pain once they get out of this stupid feud with Titus Worldwide. But I want to see the Revival win, but I think it's going to be the B Team.
Bill, you know what? While you guys were talking, I almost brought that up about the Authors of Pain. Obviously, they'd come out. I feel like they would dominate the B Team. I was wondering if one of you guys would get there.
Yeah, it slipped my mind. It completely.
I was thinking it while you guys were talking. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't see them coming out dominating another heel team, which they could. So, Bill, bonus points on that one. I kind of agree with you. I'll stick with my answer for the Revival. Like I said, I think titles are going to be changing a little bit more than usual on Sunday. All right, let's talk a little bit about Ronda Rousey. Only had a handful of matches so far, a couple pay-per-view appearances. Now going for the title against Alexa Bliss. I have a lot of thoughts here. Last time I picked that as my lock of the night. I don't know if you guys have any locks of the night, so please feel free to share. Ronda, I guess, technically won the match versus Nia Jax, but by DQ, did not win the title. So I do not have a handle on what's happening with this whole thing. I did have an idea. I think due to some current events, things may not go the way I thought they were going. I'm going to give Vac the lead off on this one.
All right. I do not at all see Alexa beating Ronda, at least not clean. Maybe she squeaks out with a DQ or something like that. Could possibly happen, or I could see Ronda actually doing it. Ronda is the star. I mean, especially if Carmella's going to hold on to the SmackDown Women's title, like I predicted, I do think Ronda may take it. And I'd also think because, like, obviously Natalya trained her, and we just lost Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Rest in peace, Anvil. It could be a little good sentimental win, but also one where technically their biggest female name, like their biggest female superstar, wins the belt. And I could totally see that. I figured that's why Alexa won it from Nia Jax to begin with, to eventually be a big-time heel to drop it to Ronda Rousey. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey.
Going with Ronda Rousey.
I'm going with Ronda Rousey.
All right. Let's throw it over to Bill. I feel like Bill's got some like inside info or something. What do you got, Bill?
I ain't got shit. So it's weird because Rob, I think I know where you're going with it. The match that made sense would be, because I think we have to, when we think of the women's division, we have to focus it on Evolution. So what's the Ronda match for Evolution? It would have almost made sense to do the whole Natalya turns on it, which I think we've been thinking forever. Natalya's going to turn on her.
Ding, 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 ding.
Natalya Ronda match. However, given the current situation, the unfortunate passing of Natalya's father, I don't know if you could do that. So what's the next feud? What's the next thing? It would have to be, if they don't do the women's tag titles like they've been rumored to do, then it would have to be on Raw. It would have to be Sasha or Bayley, unless you bring Nia Jax back from injury. I guess you could build towards that. So it's weird because the money match does make sense to be an Alexa Ronda 2. But I guess gun to my head, I'm gonna say, shit, this is a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. I don't care. I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss. I think Ronda's probably the smart money, but I have a feeling, just given they're gonna have to rewrite the course of this pay-per-view on the fly, of the women's pay-per-view, I mean. So I think a Ronda-Alexa rematch makes more sense, with some sort of shenanigans. Maybe Ronda gets counted out, maybe Ronda gets disqualified. I think I don't think you're going to see Ronda lose clean in the ring to Alexa Bliss.
Interesting. MSD.
Yeah, I'm going to mirror what Bill said. I mean, I because of everything that's happened with the Natalya and the passing of the Anvil, I don't think I really thought that there would have been some sort of swerve, some heel turn, but yeah, I think while on the one hand I want to say WWE really probably would love to just jump the gun and throw a title on Ronda Rousey to bring more prestige, what have you, to the Women's Championship, I don't really think now is going to be a good time to do it. And in the same vein, Alexa will probably walk out with the women's title, but not cleanly. She'll do, either DQ, count out, whatever, interference, and they could probably find somebody else in there to send out to the ring to cause a distraction or interference. But the one thing I definitely think they'll do is, because we haven't seen it in a long time, Alexa Bliss, dislocating her elbow to do the hanging arm bit. We haven't seen that in a long time.
True.
This is going to be the match where it happens again.
Oh, bonus points, MSD. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So did I. That was very impressive. The whole double
Good
jointed
stuff.
thing, I completely forgot.
That could
Yes.
be the way Bliss walks away with the title. She could feign breaking the arm, and they throw the match.
Oh, dude. That's good stuff, MSD. Bonus points on that one. Let's throw it over to Matt.
Yeah, you know what? Once again, if something makes sense, it's only 50-50 that's going to happen. It would, for Alexa Bliss to be able to walk around saying that she beat Ronda Rousey, or that Ronda Rousey couldn't beat her or couldn't take the title from her, yeah, that's been her shtick from day one, and she's great at it. But I think they are going to go with Ronda. I think they're going to go with Ronda. Last year at SummerSlam, how many times did we hear them try and pump it as the quote-unquote season finale? Vince has wanted it to be the number 2 pay-per-view for a long time, and this is a big name to make it a big moment, to make a big show.
I agree. I'm going to pick Ronda as well. Kind of going back to what Bill and MSC were saying a little bit, I thought, just leading up to this, that it was going to be Natalya versus Ronda as a result of this match. Ronda not winning. I do remember Natty legit making Alexa tap out on Raw and nothing coming of it, like no sort of championship match. I thought that might tie into it. I thought Ronda's promo on Raw, I wouldn't even say promo, because it was from the heart. Obviously, it had a lot to do with some real things going on. Was fantastic, like one of her best. So to Vac's point, it might be the sentimental win in a way. I have a couple questions about this. I mean, about everything in the women's division. What happened to Nia Jax? What happened to Mickie James? I'm sure some of you guys have the answers. Am I the only one that thinks they are going to try to do this horsewoman thing at the Evolution pay-per-view? And
Can you explain what you mean by that?
What is it? The four, Bailey, Sasha teaming up with Becky and Charlotte again against the UFC girls, because that just kind of plays in everything.
Too early. Supposedly Jessamine Duke and Marina Safir are going to be at NXT tomorrow, or I'm sorry, today's Thursday. On Saturday, they're going to be in Brooklyn. It could happen, but I could almost see. I feel like that's a WrestleMania match. But even then, I still don't think it's going to happen, because I think the WrestleMania match is still going to be Ronda and Charlotte. But that's just my opinion. I don't think Marina Shafir had her first or second match a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Jessamine Duke, I don't think has had a match yet. She may have, but I don't know if she's had one yet, because I don't know if they're going to tease that, or maybe they're going to be in her corner. Maybe it's Alexa has somehow gets Nia Jax and or she has Foxy and Mickie James in her corner, and Ronda has Marina and Jessamine in her corner for Evolution. I can see that more than putting the NXT horsewomen together against the UFC horsewomen.
Good stuff, Bill, and I feel better about that, because now I'm like, all right, now Becky can have more of a chance that Becky's going to win, because the pay-per-view is in October for Evolution, and I'm gonna stick with Ronda for sentimental reasons. For Alexa cashed in the Money in the Bank. She's been champion a bunch of times. Like who was it? Matt that said it was like the season finale. Essentially, I'm gonna go with Ronda. I think the titles are gonna be fine.
To be the season finale.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I will go with Ronda Rousey. I'm not gonna say it's a lock this time. I made that mistake before, but I'll go with Ronda Rousey. Although MSD bonus points for the arm angle. You guys ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, our next match, which I think is pretty good booking, of course, after that cage match, with KO going off the top through the table, awesome. Great way to make him kind of win, too. Everything, like I said, everything the big guy does is gold. Get these hands. Of course, I'm talking about, which I think is a very interesting concept, the Money in the Bank kind of briefcase match. Of course, we have Kevin Owens versus... Get these hands. All right, good stuff. Of course, we have Braun Strowman. I think this is going to be great. I have said every Money in the Bank pay-per-view that we've been doing this podcast, Kevin Owens is just made for that briefcase. I do not think he's going to win this time. However, I think Braun is going to win, and that is going to play into some things later in the night. I know I'm a big cash-in guy. I'm always talking about the cash-in. Let's throw it over to Matt.
Yeah, like you said, I'm going to go opposite of you for the exact same reasons. That stipulation was put there for a reason, and they're going to play off of that. Kevin Owens is probably the best opponent that Braun's had a feud with, certainly since that initial one with Roman. He bumped that shoulder block, that running shoulder block bump that he takes he just pinballs for the guy. And
yeah,
of all the reasons to love Kevin Owens, the fact that he can do that, he finds his spot and finds what works with everybody. This is it, and it allows them to extend the feud, because now Braun's going to be mad, and that allows them to go on and on and on with this. So I'm going with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and I mean, I think both guys would be great with the briefcase, so I would not be disappointed if that was the case. Let's throw it over to MSD.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman on this one because I feel like it would be like such a robbery. You know, they've been building up Braun in such a way where we're expecting that Braun will finally get his title match, and the Money in the Bank briefcase is his way to do it. Now, granted, that one time where both he and Brock Lesnar happened to be in the same building for Monday Night Raw, he did not cash in like he said he would. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's never been any inkling where Strowman's going to hit that main event spot again to challenge Brock, and the Money in the Bank, that's the MacGuffin right there between him and Kevin Owens. If Owens takes that from him, then where does that leave Strowman? Just to, flip cars, tables, stages, and do all that fun stuff that, yes, we all like to see it, but it's not getting him any closer to the Universal Championship. That being said, I'm sure it'll be a great match. Owens will probably take some sick bumps. But in the end, I think the victory and the briefcase has to stay with Strowman.
All right, good stuff. And I agree with you on that one, MSD. Now, MSD, I got to ask you, as the only person on the planet Earth predicting that he would pick a small child out of the crowd and win the tag team belts, will he be taking an old lady or something out of the crowd this time? Anything going on like that?
Right now, taking an old lady is reserved for Tommaso Ciampa right now. I think he's building on that feud. So
Wow.
I don't know if the main roster is gonna copy the NXT gimmick while it's still fresh. But you know what? It wouldn't shock me if maybe Strowman used the briefcase somehow. I don't know, maybe like slammed it on Owens' nuts or something.
All right, Bill, you heard it here first. Bill, what do you got?
See, I feel like they have to take it off of Braun for this reason, because if Braun Strowman retains and just extrapolate, Roman Reigns wins, well, everyone's going to want Braun to cash in on Roman that night. And honestly, are we going to do another Roman Reigns finally wins the belt, someone cashes in on him, and he loses the belt? Are we going to really do that again? Because that's boring. Now, it is a distinct possibility that happens. But I feel like KO, if Roman is going to remain a good guy and beats Brock, KO is the guy for him. And I think this is going to dictate it, because if I think it's going to this is going to be the tell who wins the main event. If KO wins, Roman's going over. If Braun wins, Brock's going over. Because it makes more sense for the other person to challenge the other person. So in the end, I think it's going to be Kevin Owens. And God, I would love to see him pull out a package pile driver, and it's not going to happen. And, if Braun Strowman might just pull Sin Cara out of the hospital and use him as a weapon. Who knows?
There it is. Interesting stuff, man. I like kind of the math going on there in your head. I'm looking at...
It's the only math I can do.
Yeah, wrestling. Let's throw it over to Mike, who's a big KO fan. Go ahead. What do you got?
Been a fan of Kevin Owens for 10+ years now, and
really interested to see what you're
totally.
thinking.
And I love Kevin Owens, and I love the fact that he's going to do whatever he can. As he's so great with his character, he can be a bully when he has to. He can be a coward when he has to. I'm sure he's going to try to get Braun counted out or try to get him disqualified. Do anything to get that briefcase. But I think ultimately Braun will hold on and keep the briefcase, and I do think it has something to do with the Universal title match. I do think it's going to set up something with that. I don't want to seg into it because I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I do. I mean, he's as great as Kevin Owens would be as Mr. Money in the Bank. I think he would be better if he did it when he actually won the match. But yeah, I'm just going to go with Braun. I'm going to say Strowman.
Stay with Strowman.
Yeah.
All right, and you know what? Either result would be awesome. Would be really cool. KO walking around with the briefcase would be great. I like Bill's theories. Really interesting stuff. Now, I guess it would make a ton of sense right now to go into the Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns Universal title match for the umpteenth time. But, of course, we're not going to do that because it's going to close the show. We'll close it with the podcast. Let's go AJ Styles. Mike's shaking his head over here. Just a swerve, you guys.
That was a swerve, all right.
Yeah, like they did to us at WrestleMania. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Another match that might steal the show. I'm stoked for this. I'm a big Samoa Joe guy. I'm a big AJ Styles guy. The feud's only been going about 3-4 weeks. I love that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Like Samoa Joe, fantastic on the mic. What a great speaker. Fantastic on the mic. The fact that they put together a storyline and made it somewhat interesting with the whole family angle. Joe, I feel like Joe can just make anything believable and happen. It's going to be a great match. Either outcome will be great. Either one of those guys leaving with the title. I had picked Joe to win the Money in the Bank match because Styles was in a last man standing match. And if anyone from SmackDown had won that briefcase, it was a no-brainer to cash in. I thought it'd be Samoa Joe winning that way. Alas, I was wrong. Let me see what you guys think. Let's throw it over to Bill Bodkin.
Samoa Joe, baby.
Samoa Joe.
He's gonna take it. AJ Styles has had the run for a very long time, and I think it's a time for change of the guard. And I think Samoa Joe is the guy to take it. I think you got a lot of fresh challengers for him. Daniel Bryan, a whole bunch of other guys. I'm excited to see Samoa Joe's run as the SmackDown Live champion.
And I would like to see that. I'd be happy with any results. Short and sweet. Bill is thinking Samoa Joe. Vac, are you nodding over there?
You know, I'm actually will be happy with either outcome. I know it's a cop-out. That's what's the personal feelings. If AJ wins, it's so deserved. AJ has been the MVP of not only SmackDown, but the entire company for the last year, without a doubt. He's had he's phenomenal. I mean, I can't use that pun enough. But he's had incredible matches. Fans of both him and Samoa Joe know their history. They feuded in Ring of Honor and Impact, and you know what you're getting with the two of them together. Thank God for WWE for letting them get this stage and letting them do this. Give them a solid 20 minutes, maybe even 25. Let them just tear it up. I would like to see the main event. I don't think it's going to happen. We already agreed we think Roman and Brock's going to happen. But here's the thing. If Samoa Joe wins, I'm happy for him. He definitely deserved it, being a nearly 20-year veteran. But I'm going to say AJ holds on. And you guys also mentioned earlier about The Miz maybe being the man to go and dethrone, AJ Styles. Imagine that would be a great feud right there too. And so it's a tough call, but I'm going to say AJ holds on.
AJ holds on.
But the real winners are the fans, because it will again be a 5-star match. I know they use that cliche a lot, but the real winners will be the fans.
Oh, I love it. All right, MSD, what do you got?
I was actually thinking about this could also be a match early on in the card. I think that'll definitely energize the crowd and really keep everybody pumped up for the pay-per-view. I'm going with Samoa Joe on this one.
Wow.
It's a tough call. I've loved AJ Styles as champion. He's been the guy on SmackDown. He's been a high-profile champion. But I love Samoa Joe. Haven't seen him really in a long time flourish in WWE, and I think this will be the way for him to come back with a bang, grabbing the WWE title. I think that's where this is headed, and I'm sure it'll lead to a feud for a few months. In fact, I'm sure Joe and Styles could feud probably through the Royal Rumble over the title.
Wow. Yeah, long feud. That's an interesting idea. Matt, what do you got?
Like Vac said, these two are no strangers to each other. I had an X Division title joke I was working on but couldn't make it happen. These guys, this is going to be a potential show stealer. As far as the title change, if Joe gets it, it kind of extends the feud. I think AJ has more people to work with on the SmackDown side if he retains. But so I'm actually going to keep it on him. But it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, a head scratcher. That's the right way to say it. I'm going to go with I know, I feel like we always pick AJ Styles. One time I picked against him because I thought he was banged up. Might have been Mania. I'm going to stick with AJ Styles. I think this feud is going to drag out. I think also because I think the Universal title is going to change at least once. I think the WWE title is going to stay put. I think this feud, it's only been 3-4 weeks kind of brewing. I think it's going to get more interesting. I think Joe is going to get more vicious. And like you guys said, it's going to drag out. I think Styles is going to hold on for a little bit. I don't know how much longer he's going to be in WWE. I'm sticking with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
You think he's going to bounce?
I don't think he's going to bounce. I think, when he had first come in after the Royal Rumble, there was a lot of stuff saying that he, was going to do like 2 or 3 years with WWE and that's it. Like, just call it a career, like not going anywhere else or anything. Like, he's a family man, as Samoa Joe has pointed out several times. But, yeah, just a thought. Who knows? And hopefully he sticks around. He's phenomenal. We love him. Okay, guys, it is time for what I would imagine to be the main event for the umpteenth time. Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. We have talked about this belt so many times and the relevance of it, what it means. I'm just thankful Camp isn't here right now. He would go, what belt? There's a champion on Raw.
Camp.
Yeah, we miss him. He's meeting Trish Stratus tomorrow, so he's a busy man doing all that. He's meeting every wrestler in the world. I'm going to let Matt take this one away because Matt had some interesting comments about why that belt needed Brock Lesnar, but it's been too long. I couldn't agree more. Matt, what are your thoughts on this match? Who is walking out of there with the Universal title if it's either of these two guys?
I believe that the long nightmare is over. That this is what should have happened at least a year, possibly 2 or 3 years ago. Roman beats Brock. People can rotate into the main event picture. The title can get passed around. Roman can evolve past, this retro baby face thing that's not working for him. And just to throw it back to Raw, he got a fairly warm reception, mind you. The Carolinas are not Brooklyn. I don't see the same thing happening there.
Yeah.
But a few minutes of Paul Heyman go a long way. He really made that segment pop. And I had to look it up. I had to do multiple Google searches to find out that the rough translation of what he told him in Samoan was along the lines of, you can win this if you want, or if you want to win, you can win. And, props to Paul Heyman for probably putting that together. There's still a question what was on that paper. And props to them both for multiple outlets are all reporting for authenticity that they use real pepper spray. There are multiple people multiple Bleacher Report, and I think Cade's side were both saying real pepper spray was used.
What? I did not think for a second that was the case. No way. No way.
Wrestling is wrestling, and the only thing real is the money and the miles, as Captain Lou once told Kevin Nash. But we have multiple outlets reporting real pepper spray was used. Which, of all people, I wouldn't imagine that Brock would be down for that, because then he had to roll around on it. It's not fun, let me tell you. But no, I see this going. Brock Lesnar stepping into a UFC cage was the biggest news in either company for the entire month that it happened. He's on very limited time, and by appearance rate he's going at. They have Ronda. They may push Ronda into that top spot to give them that marquee name stuff. Yeah, this is gonna happen. Do they do the old Roman's gonna be champ? Oh wait, no, he's not. And let's try and paint this 6'3", 260-pound A-level athlete, good-looking guy with a pedigree family. We'll try and paint him as the underdog. But one way or another, I see Brock walking out of there with an empty waist.
Wow, really, we got the Samoan translation. That is how good we are on the Bob Culture Podcast. Going the extra mile, the Anti-smark. Ladies and gentlemen, I see Vac kind of gesturing over here. Vac has something to say. This is good stuff, guys.
It's time for the belt to come to Raw and stay on Raw.
And we've been saying that, man.
We have. I mean, I understand Brock gave some legitimacy to it, and people are going to crap all over this match. Here's how I think it's going to go. I think Roman's going to win two different ways. One, it seems obvious that Paul Heyman will screw over Brock based on what they've been doing and be in Roman Reigns' corner and be his mouthpiece and everything like that. And could Roman Reigns go like that old school NXT, like, suit, ponytail, sunglasses? It could be. Or finally, Roman beats Brock Lesnar clean. Takes everything, like 20 Superman punches, 10 spears, whatever the hell it takes, and finally beats Brock Lesnar for that belt. Then he shows up on Raw the next day, smiles, I got the belt, and you know what? I don't give a damn about any of you people. You know what? And just basically being the way Rock was when Rock first front was. You kept saying, die, Rocky, die. Well, you know what? The Rock doesn't give a damn about any of you and anything. I think it would be perfect. Have Roman yell back at the crowd, boo me all you want. I don't care. Screw you people. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm the champion. You know what? Have him go that way, and keep it short and sweet. But I still think you should limit the Superman punches to maybe 2 a match.
Yeah, 2, yeah.
But bottom line is, I'll say Roman does it, and please, let the big dog off his leash.
Oh, that's a good quote.
So there you go.
You guys are just saving the best for last. You guys are bringing it on this one. I like that idea, the heel Roman, kind of, how John Cena gets the boos and the cheers, and he's always just kind of towed that line and with a smile on his face.
Stop towing the line. Let Roman just say, you know what, to hell with you guys. I'm the champ. But you know what? Whatever.
I could see it, man.
I don't care if you like me anymore. I'm a rich, successful champion, and I'm in this business. He also kind of had a little bit of hints of that when he said, I was bred into this business, talking a little bit about his heritage. Go ahead. You can go say that. You know what? I'm entitled. I'm champion because I was born to be a champion. Something none of you guys are. So screw it. You boo me all you want. I don't care.
Wow. Good. Wow. You guys are bringing it. MSD, what do you got?
I like what he's saying because, think about it. The night after Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker, he stepped into the ring, and after 10 minutes of being booed, all he said is, this is my yard, and dropped the mic.
His best promo ever. So short and sweet.
Less is more. I've always said this. Less is more with him. 100% agree. Go ahead, MSD.
Less, yeah, absolutely. And I do have to agree with the consensus so far that that it'll finally happen where Roman Reigns I should say Brock Lesnar will lose the title. I'm not entirely sold it'll be Roman Reigns to do it. We could see whether it's Strowman or Owens cash in, make it a triple threat. Because the other thing is, Brock Lesnar doesn't really like to be pinned. He doesn't really like to be the one to lose the title. So I think that if there's a chance that maybe there'll be a cash-in just to make it a triple threat to protect Brock from being pinned, that might happen. But when it comes down to it, no one's really cared about the title, and I think I read somewhere that Vince would crap himself if he would miss out on an opportunity to have Brock Lesnar bring the WWE Universal Championship into the Octagon. He would love to have that. He would go nuts to see his title on a UFC show. Honestly, Dana White would not let the WWE Universal Championship be on one of his shows. He thinks it's a joke. Dana White would never let that happen. So for Vince's, pipe dream of having his title on a UFC program wouldn't happen anyway. That being said, come Sunday, Brock Lesnar's stomach will be a little emptier, and it won't be because of diverticulitis.
Oh my gosh, you guys are bringing it.
Quotes.
Oh my gosh, you guys are on fire. All right, I feel like Bill's got something for us. Maybe a curveball. I don't know. Bill, follow all those, man. What do you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Bodkin, and I'm going to tell you, sorry sons of bitches, one thing. Vince McMahon doesn't give a flying fuck what we care. Everything you guys laid out is the best thing that could possibly happen. And they don't give a shit about that. Roman, I've read multiple times, like I do some reporting for other wrestling sites and stuff, that the Roman Reigns, this is my yard promo is the closest thing you will ever see to a Roman Reigns heel promo ever. They are not turning him heel. He is going to be the same middle-of-the-road, douchey babyface that he has been for years. They would make so much more money if he was a bad guy and then turn him into the cool good guy, the anti-hero. But they're not going to do it. What's going to happen is, don't be surprised, and I think Brock Lesnar is going to retain the title, because as much as we want to see Paul Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar, it's not going to happen. As much as we want to see Roman Reigns show up in a suit and cut a heel promo and tell people what he really thinks about them, it's not going to happen, because kids like Roman Reigns. And he sells merchandise to kids. And Vince McMahon just got $5 billion worth of TV rights, so he don't give a fuck what anyone thinks but what he thinks. And he would love for Brock Lesnar to go into that octagon with the title. And Mike, I hate to disagree with you, but Dana White loves one thing more than the UFC, and that's money, and money in his pocket. And nothing's going to generate more money and more buzz than the WWE Universal Champion walking into the octagon. And you know what he would really get a boner over? That guy getting his ass beat in the octagon, because then he can prove that he's king shit. So I really think Brock Lesnar is going to leave with the title. And it's infuriating. It's stupid. Roman Reigns should be the champion. People have been cheering for him. But I just have this feeling that Brock is going to walk out, because you know what? Roman Reigns should have beaten his ass at WrestleMania.
Wow. You guys should just all simultaneously drop the mic. That was fantastic. Good stuff. Not really as thought out as you guys, just short and sweet. We've been talking forever that this title just needs to not be on Brock Lesnar, and I think at the end of the night, one way or another, it's not going to be on Brock Lesnar. I've heard some things about a meeting with him going on Sunday, and they're talking about his deal, and I'm sure they're going to talk about possibility of having the UFC title and the Universal title in some way. And Bill and MSD, you guys both have great points. Like, would UFC allow that in any sort of way on their program? That's really interesting to me. I'm going to go this way. I think the belt becomes irrelevant, just completely irrelevant, if it stays on Brock Lesnar. It's already out of mind, out of sight. Camp, if he was on here, he'd be cracking jokes. What belt? I think Roman gets the belt, and I'm going to go with a Braun Strowman cash-in, which is unexpected, because you get, we're in Brooklyn, we got Roman wins the belt, you get that mixed reaction, you get the boos, maybe some cheer, and I think that reaction is going to be very, very, very mixed for a lot of reasons, not just Roman winning or losing, but that belt not being on Brock. So you'll probably hear a lot of the boos, because you're in Brooklyn. You hear the, as Mike does, the Braun, the Braun thing comes out, lots of cheers, cash-in, kind of unexpected face versus face thing. Braun's been on fire. Everything he does is gold. I'd be happy to see it. I know I'm big on the cash-ins. You guys probably don't agree with me. And then I think you kind of get even more frustrated Roman Reigns. Does he go heel? Does he, become somewhat of an underdog? I don't really see that. But that's kind of my thought process to end the night. Just kind of mess with our emotions. Something to talk about on Twitter when it's over.
In the end, I want this match not to happen, and I want it to be British Strong Style and Undisputed Era in a 2 out of 3 falls match. That's how I want SummerSlam to end. It's not going to happen, but damn it, a man could dream.
Oh, man. Good stuff, guys. Real quick before we go, any surprise returns? I'm not going to say we already talked about Ellsworth. We talked about possibly Mysterio. Anyone coming back? Do you guys hear anything? It's SummerSlam.
I think if it was, Ambrose showed up on Raw, we know he's going to be in Rollins' corner for that match. I think, That would have been cool if they. I mean, that would have been cool if they saved that for SummerSlam, and Rollins comes out and say, "Oh, I got somebody to walk my corner for this match," and people go nuts for Ambrose. Then I think if they were going to no return at this point, I feel is going to be bigger than when Ambrose showed up on Raw. So I mean, I think it'll be pretty tame, just the way it is. Everybody who's advertised is there. That's what I'm saying.
Mysterio coming back, Raw or SmackDown after SummerSlam. You watch. We know he signed. Video games coming out.
If we see somebody on the main show, I think it's going to be someone in the Ronda match, maybe Nia Jax, maybe Mickie James.
True.
The appearances are always saved for TakeOver, and I am telling you, Matt Riddle is going to be in the front row, blazing a fat one, just saying, I just signed a bazillion-dollar contract, suck it. I'm going to go wrestle in flip-flops and come out to basically a knockoff a regulator, and NXT is going to be awesome for it.
Wow. Good stuff, guys. As always. Hey, you guys brought it. I appreciate all of your time. Guys, thank you for all your help. Like I said, you guys really do carry me. 50 episodes of the podcast. Hopefully we do 50 more. We'll keep it going with the wrestling panel. We're going to try to do some combined podcasts with our friends in Smart to Death. Keep the panels going. We're going to try to do more episodes, more bands, more pay-per-views. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome weekend for us. We have NXT tomorrow night. I'll be at the SmackDown House Show Monday night in AC. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff coming on. Of course, we got Boardwalk Beatdown. How could I forget that? Coming on August 25th, Standalone Wrestling, big convention. The Bullet Club's there. Goldberg's there. Sting's there. Victoria's there. So many names. James Ellsworth will be there. I'll be trying to get a bunch of interviews for you guys. It's a big show for me. Oh, dude, it's going to be nuts. Of course, be sure to follow Bill Bodkin, Michael SD, and myself at thepopbreak.com. You probably have a ton of SummerSlam coverage, a ton of Raw and SmackDown coverage, some NXT in there. Be sure, to keep up with our wrestling panel. We got, of course, the Human Wrestling Encyclopedia, the Anti-smark. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for 50 episodes. Woo! And enjoy SummerSlam.
Peace.
All right, guys, we're out. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this episode of the Bob Culture Podcast. Don't forget to support the show on patreon.com/Bob Culture Podcast for some great incentives. I'd like to give a shout out to my patrons JayCrow, Shannon, Krus, and of course Mike and Michelle Vermillion from Sledgepad Innovations. Sledgepad is the bass drum dampening system used by national acts like Pink, Goo Goo Dolls, Cher, Collective Soul, and a whole bunch more. Check them out at sledgepad.com. And of course, if you're a fan of the show, please subscribe on YouTube, check us out at podbean.com, and leave me a review at iTunes.